Did you hear that? Yeah, what is that? It doesn't sound like droids. Don't forget about those giant eels. Yeah, I've never seen them. What the hell was that? That was an...
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Adam or Adamrex, and in today's video we're going to be ranking every Clone Wars set ever released by LEGO Star Wars. Now, I'm not going to be including any UCS or polybag sets, anything small like microfighters. I'll probably just save those for another time. And I just did a UCS ranking, so go check that out if you want to see that. Now, before we dive into the ranking, I just wanted to thank everybody for the support in the last 3 videos and all the new subs. Welcome to the channel, everybody. And just remember that this is my list, so don't go crazy in the comments if this list isn't the same as yours. These are just my own personal opinions. And by the way, guys, there's a lot of Clone Wars sets, so I'm going to be skimming through a lot of these pretty quick, especially a lot of the smaller sets. I think a lot of the sets are pretty average at the kind of bottom part here of the ranking, but as we gradually go up, I'll probably speak a bit more on each of them. I don't want this video to be an hour long. I mean, I could make an hour-long one if that's something you guys want to see, but for now, we're just going to try and condense this into a smaller video. I think I could easily make an hour video talking about the Clone Wars sets, so yeah, let's just stick with a smaller video for today, and with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. As with every other ranking, there has to be a last place, unfortunately, whether we like it or not. And unfortunately for the Hyena droid, it's my pick for the worst Clone Wars set. Now, I don't necessarily think this set is bad by any means. I have this set. It's not a bad set at all. In fact, it depicts the Hyena bomber really well. I just think it's a bit boring. The minifigures are solid. The Jetpack B1 battle droids are pretty cool. Again, it's just a little bland. A lot of the other sets coming up are a little bit more interesting than this one. It's not bad by any means, though, so don't think I think it's bad. It's just... there's a lot better ones coming up, so that's last place. The next set I've chosen is the Mandalorian Speeder from 2015. I think some people may not agree with this, but I think it's a bit of a boring build. I just don't think it's a set people are necessarily looking for from LEGO Star Wars, and with that being said, I think the design for the Speeder is good. However, the fig selection does amplify the set just a little bit, but for me, it just remains in this place. Moving on, I've gone with the Duel on Mandalore from the final season of Clone Wars. This one's actually pretty nice. You get some nice pieces for the cell kind of thing that they held them all in. And I'm not really sure if those are printed pieces or stickers, but I do like the way it looks, especially with the little Mandalorian on it. Also, the design for the throne looks amazing too. I really do like it. It's just, again, there's a lot better sets coming up, guys. And of course, we get 2 great minifigures being Ahsoka and Maul. I want to quickly reiterate as well that I don't think any of the Clone Wars sets are bad by any means. So if there's a set in a lower position that you guys don't agree with, just remember that I don't hate the set. I don't think it's a bad set by any means. I'd give these bottom sets maybe a 6 to a 7 at the worst. So they're not bad sets. The quality's pretty good on these. I just think the sets coming up are a little bit better. That's all. Up next is the Hellfire Droid and Spider Droid set from back from 2008 from the first Clone Wars wave. And I remember getting the set for Christmas. I absolutely loved it. Like, it's a really good set. I don't think these sets are bad by any means. And I know, like, you could roll around the Hellfire Droid. I know that's kind of the point of it, but I thought it was really cool when I was a kid. Now, it only came with a few droids, which was a little disappointing. It would have been nice to get a few clones in there too, but I think besides that, the Spider Droid is pretty good. It's my personal favorite we've ever gotten from a Hellfire Droid as well. So, yeah, it's pretty solid. But it's in this place, unfortunately. Next up is the Twilight, and I'm sure many other people have pointed this out already on YouTube, but it's lacking any real detail. I just don't really like the way this set looks. It's really odd looking, the full gray. I know it is accurate to the Clone Wars, but it's just a really boring set, and it's in this place. The Droid Tri-Fighter from 2010 is next up, and I always love the design for the ship. I really like it. It's from my favorite movie, Revenge of the Sith, so, I mean, I have to like it, right? Anyway, the minifigure selection is pretty decent, too. I think it's a great design. Looks pretty accurate. Don't really have much to say about this one. Up next is the Freako Speeder. I think it's a bit of an underappreciated set as well. Now you get 2 unique minifigures being Anakin and Thee Sen, I think is how you pronounce it. Now, albeit it's definitely an odd minifigure, but it looks pretty cool. And like I said, it's the only time we got it. It's exclusive to this set. The build for the Speeder looks really good. I don't really have any gripes with this one. It's just a really solid set overall. Anakin's Jedi Starfighter from 2018 is my next choice, and this set is definitely a little bit different from the normal Starfighters we've gotten, but it's actually quite accurate to the TV show. I know what they're trying to depict here. I just don't really like it in comparison to the other Starfighters coming up, and you'll see there's a lot of Starfighters from the Clone Wars era. So anyways, the Anakin minifigure is really good, and you get an R2-D2. It's a pretty solid set overall. Don't have much negative to say about this one either. Sith Night Speeder is next, and it's the only rendition of this model that we've ever gotten. It's a pretty unique speeder, actually. The design for it is really special. We got some really cool printing for this one, and as I mentioned before, it's a really unique model. I do like the printing on it. As I said, I don't know if these are printed pieces or stickers. I think I have this one in my collection. I'll have to check. But anyways, you get an Anakin and a Asajj Ventress and the exclusive Savage Opress, which I think looks really good. It's one of the best models I've seen from any of those kind of, what would you say, Darth Maul kind of, I don't know what they're called. I don't know if there's Abrax or something like that, but anyways, it looks really good. The AAT from 2020 is up next, and I think this model looks a little odd for me personally. I actually prefer the one from 2000, I think it was, with the kind of saucer pieces on it. I think it looks better. The blue coloring does not look good on the AAT. I just don't like it. You get the Ahsoka, you get one of her clones. It's a decent set. It's not the best AAT we've ever gotten, but it's pretty solid. Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter is a great set, and it comes in the next place. The blue coloring looks really good on it. It actually looks pretty good on the Jedi Starfighter. I do like it a lot. Of course, we get a Plo Koon minifigure, which I love. Very underrated character, by the way, from the Clone Wars. I love him so much. I hate what they did to him in Revenge of the Sith, but nevertheless, this set's really good, and it deserves this place. General Grievous' Combat Speeder from 2018 is next, and I love the minifigures in this set, as with most of the Clone Wars sets. We get a General Grievous, we get a Mace Windu, it looks really good. I find the speeders really odd looking though. I don't really like the design of it. It's not my kind of cup of tea, I guess you would say. I don't really like it. Not really an interesting set to me. I do like the minifigures, as I said, but it's just odd looking. I'm just not a fan of it, and it deserves this place for that. Ahsoka Starfighter and Vulture Droid is my next pick, and the designs for these ships were great. It kind of reminds me of the 2005 Vulture Droid versus Anakin Starfighter set. It's really cool. Now, these are very accurate to the TV show, and yes, I know the minifigures are too, but I just don't really like the minifigures from the Clone Wars era. I think the Ahsoka looks really bad. And I know it is accurate, but it's just not my kind of thing, that's all. Besides that, it's a solid set, and it takes this spot. Yoda's Jedi Starfighter is next, and wow, they made so many different iterations of the Jedi Starfighter. I mean, we could probably make a whole ranking on just Jedi Starfighters, guys. Now, this is by far the most unique build for me, though. I really do like the dark green coloring that they did. It makes it very menacing, I would say. A little bit more menacing than some of the other designs. Now, this one's very sleek. It's very compact. It's very small, obviously, because Yoda's small, but I think it works really well. I think that the Yoda minifigure is probably the best they've ever released as well, so it's a really good set. The Geonosian Cannon is next, and now, while there's not a whole lot going on with the actual build for the set, I do think the minifigures are the highlight for this one. You get a Commander Gree. He looks great. You get a Barriss Offee as well, and some updated Geonosians, which look much better than their predecessors from back in 2003. I think we can all speak for that. Now, it's a pretty good set overall. Not a whole lot going on, like I said, but it takes this spot here. Surprise, surprise, guys. Another Jedi Starfighter. Who would have saw this coming? Now, this is the Mace Windu version from 2011. I actually think this is the worst Jedi Starfighter design for me. The only reason that this set got a little higher than the other ones is for the stellar minifigure lineup and the speeder to go alongside of them. I think that is the highlight of the set. If they just released that without the Jedi Starfighter, this would be much higher, in my opinion. So you also get two staffs, which look really great. That could go along with it. And, of course, the infamous overpriced Commando Droid. Saucy Tins, I think that's how you pronounce it. Jedi Starfighter was my next choice. And similar to the Yoda Starfighter, I like the way that the dark green looks on these Starfighters. I think it looks really good. It fits really well. Probably better than anything else I've seen. Now, there's some really nice gold pieces in there as well. I think it's actually one of the best Jedi Starfighters from the Clone Wars, for sure. I mean, you get two really nice minifigures, too. It's just a really solid set. Not too many gripes with this one, either. The Bark Speeder with Sidecar is a really nice set. I really love the design for the Bark Speeder. I think it's the highlight of this set for me. Obviously, you know, that's kind of the name of the set, so it should be the highlight. But anyways, you also get an exclusive Captain Rex, which is nice, and you get that nice boob pauldron. He's worth quite a bit now, I believe. I don't know if he's upwards of 120 now or something, but he's quite expensive. It's a really solid set, and it deserves its spot. The Republic fighter tank from 2017 is next up in this set. It's a little off-putting with the sizing of the build. I don't really think it kind of displays the set very well, or the actual design for it. It seems a bit off to me. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, but I never really liked this one. I do like the minifigure lineup, but yeah, not much to say about this one. 7681 Spider Droid was my next choice, and I used to hate this set as a kid, but it's really grown on me. especially now that I see how expensive Fox is. I think we can all agree on that one, guys. Besides that, I think the build for the Spider Droid is really well done by LEGO, and the minifigure selection, as with most of the Clone Wars sets, is really good as well. The 2010 General Grievous Starfighter has aged really well in my opinion. I still think it holds up really well, not only in the design department, but in the minifigure department as well. I still think they look really good to this day. They're accurate to the show characters, and it's just a great set overall. The 7669 Anakin's Jedi Starfighter from the original Clone Wars wave was one of my favorite sets when I was a kid. It's pretty barren. There's not a whole lot going on here, especially in the minifigure department, but I really don't like how the Clone Wars figures look. I think the faces really throw me off. I think I've already said that, but the design for the Starfighter is really good, albeit, and it has some really nice detail and coloring as well. The Magma Guard Starship is super underrated set, and I don't see many people talking about this one. I like it a lot. I think it's a really unique piece, and we haven't got another version of it to my understanding. I don't think we have. I like the Magma Guard minifigures, and the ship had those really cool designs for the engines. It's just a really good set overall. The Clone Wars Venator was actually super good despite what people say, I think. Now, I hear a lot of complaints that this was a bit chubby, and I get it, but that's kind of what it looks like in the show. So if it were based off Revenge of the Sith, I'd understand the complaint, but I think it looks great nonetheless. Now, you get that really odd-looking Chancellor Palpatine minifigure, but again, it's very accurate to the show. I can't really say anything too bad about it, but yeah, it's a pretty good set. I like the maroon on it. It was always one of my favorite ships from Star Wars, and it deserves this spot. Next up is the New Republic fighter tank, and I think it's the second best version of the ship. You have a Mace Windu minifigure and 3 Legend-style purple clones, which look amazing. I've gone with the original and second best AAT model from 2009. I remember seeing this one in the LEGO magazine and really wanted it when I was a kid. I think it aged pretty decent, actually. As I said with the last one, I don't really like blue on them on these AATs, but it is accurate to the shows. It's an overall solid design and comes with some great minifigures. My next pick is a very unique set, being the HH-87 Starhopper from that episode where Obi-Wan goes bald. I think we all remember that one. Now, this set has a really special color pattern, being lime green and beige, and I think a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually think it turned out to be pretty nice. And you can never go wrong with a Cad Bane minifigure. Another underrated set is the 7678 droid gunship. Now, the design for this set is especially underrated for being one of the first iterations of the model, and I actually think it looks really good. It was one of my favorite sets when I was a kid, one of my first Clone Wars sets. It's a really solid model. We don't really get any special minifigures or anything in this set, but I think it still holds up really well. The Battle for Geonosis set from back in 2011 was another set that has aged like fine wine, from the droid turret build to the speeder, and the Luminar and Captain Rex minifigures, which are both expensive nowadays. Now, this set was fantastic overall, and it deserves to be in this position. The Coruscant Police gunship was an amazing render of a ship from one of the best arcs from the Clone Wars, being the Jedi Temple bombing and Ahsoka trials. The big red cockpit piece in the front looks amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's exclusive to this set, which makes it all that more amazing. Now, you get 2 Coruscant Guard clones, you get Ahsoka, you get Anakin. It's just a great set. The Republic AV-7 cannon speaks for itself for having some of the best clones ever made. It has a Plo Koon minifigure and a crispy looking design for the cannon. It's a fantastic set. The Mandalorian Starfighter, released alongside the Clone Wars revamp for its final season, was a brilliant set and design. The Mandalorian arc is vital to the story as well, and we all enjoy getting some more Mandalorian figures as well. I don't think anybody's going to say no to that. It's an awesome set and deserves its spot on my list. The 7959 Geonosian Fighter is the best rendition of the ship we've ever gotten, in my opinion, albeit there's very few of them, but it is the best. Now, they use some really nice pieces to display the odd design of the ship, and it actually ends up working really well. You get a Commander Cody, a Ki-Adi-Mundi, and an updated Geonosian minifigure, which all look really good together. The 2009 Separatist Shuttle was a really compact model, especially considering the piece count. Now, I think LEGO did a great job creating this model. You get some great minifigures. It's a solid set. It's one of my favorites from the old Clone Wars lines, and it's very underrated. Up next is the 2009 Pirate Tank from the early Clone Wars episodes. Now, this set gets a lot of flack, but I think it's a really intricate design, and it displays the ship very well. Now, based on the backlash, I understand why they've only created it once, but I'd love to see a rendition of this again. Now, there's some nice sticker pieces there to add more detail. I think it looks really good. It's a very solid set. The Pre-Vizslas Mandalorian Fighter was a great design. The colors really pop on it. It has a very sleek cockpit area. It looks amazing. The stickers blend in really well with the aesthetic of the build, and it's just a great set overall. The one and only time we got the Count Dooku Solar Sailor was delivered, in my opinion, by LEGO. It looks amazing. My only real gripe with this set was the fact that it didn't include the parachute that we actually see in the movie, and I know it is a Clone Wars set, but it would have been nice to see that with it. Besides that, it's a great set, has a great minifigure lineup, and it's just a good set overall. overall. Cad Bane's speeder was shown briefly in the Clone Wars during Cad Bane's prison escape, but LEGO managed to put together a really solid model. It looks really clean and a nice minifigure lineup to complement the build. It's a great set overall and one I love having in my collection along with many of these other sets. The T6 Jedi Shuttle is an instant classic and has 4 great minifigures, all being Jedi. Now the shuttle has a great design. I obviously like the red and white coloring on it, as I mentioned before. I think they work really well together. It looks pretty accurate to the show. Now obviously the newer Ahsoka model looks more accurate, but for the time this was a fantastic set. Up next is the Umbaran MHC set, and this set is of very high quality in my opinion, and it's up very high because of the exclusive minifigures primarily, but I absolutely love the design for the MHC. It looks really good, and I know a lot of people would agree with me on that. I love the Umbaran minifigures. I think they're really unique, and I mean, they obviously are unique to this set. They're exclusive, and they remind me of some older kind of space minifigures from the 80s and 90s. I just think it looks really good overall. The Z95 Headhunter takes my next spot, and the design for this set really reminds me of an X-Wing model, and I guess that's maybe why I like it so much and it's so high up. But either way, as I mentioned earlier, I think red and white complement each other super well, and this is a prime example of that. We also got an exclusive Pong Krell minifigure. That guy's crazy, by the way. If you guys haven't seen that Clone Wars arc, make sure to go watch that. That guy goes nuts. So this pick may surprise a few people, but I chose the Republic Attack Shuttle next. Now, something about this set just gives me some early Clone Wars nostalgia. I guess that's probably because it's where it's from. Now, I remember wanting this set when I was a kid, and I still haven't picked this one up. For some reason, I'm planning on getting it eventually, but yeah, I do love this set, and it really encapsulates the early Clone Wars. The 2013 AT-RT model was a clean and refreshing take on the model, and I think it was the first time we actually saw it. I don't know if it's different from the Clone Scout Walker. I don't really know my lore that well, but anyways, I love seeing it in blue, and I think they did a really good job with the actual design. The Jordica design, we don't really need to talk about that one. I think it kind of sucks, but the rest of the minifigures are excellent. It's a good set. The original Separatist tank droid from the first Clone Wars wave is the second best version of this model, second to only the 2013 version, which in my opinion was one of the best waves of LEGO Star Wars that we've gotten to date. Now, we also got those super cool jet troopers with this set. It's a really simple set, and I wish LEGO made more like this one. Just missing out on the top 10 was the Bounty Hunters Assault Ship, and I originally didn't like this set when it first came out. I really hated the color scheme, and I still don't like the color scheme very much. However, I do think that the actual design looks really good. It's really unique, and it looks very accurate to the shows. We get some really good minifigures in this, obviously all being Bounty Hunters, just like in the show. It's just a really good set. Starting off the top 10 is the 501st Legion Trooper set. I remember seeing all the campaigning online to get this set on the shelves, and we finally got it, and LEGO did not disappoint in my opinion. Those 501st Troopers look really good, and they're the holy grail for any collector. I'm sure they're going to be worth a lot in the near future, so definitely pick up that set while you can. It's a solid set and one of the best from the Clone Wars. Up next is the Republic Fighter Tank, and this is by far the most accurate LEGOs ever produced. It's not even up for debate. It's simple, it's clean, the minifigures are great, it's a great set, it looks awesome, and it deserves this position. 7674 V19 Torn is a extremely underappreciated set from the Clone Wars era, and a few of you might be surprised that I put it this high, but I think it's a fantastic set, I really do. I think this is probably the only version we've ever gotten, I believe. It's a unique ship. They've managed to create a somewhat difficult model, and they've really capitalized on it. I think it looked really good. That's why it's so high up. I wish we got a few more minifigures just besides one clone pilot, I think is all we got. But besides that, I think this thing's damn near perfect. Anakin's Y-Wing is next up, and we've never seen this set again. We've only had it once, similar to a lot of sets on this list. Now, it's an all-yellow Y-Wing, which I think looks incredible. The Y-Wing is actually one of my favorite models from Star Wars. I think it's one of the best-looking ships by far. And they managed to do a great iteration of it. I think it looks fantastic. It's super unique, and if you have it in your collection, definitely hold on to it. The one and only Malevolence is up next, and it may surprise a few people. I don't actually know the general reception on this set, but I personally really like this set, and I think it deserves this spot. I wish they make a UCS model for this. I think it would look really good, like a kind of Revenge of the Sith version of it. Anyways, I think this set really encapsulates the set really well. The minifigures look great. It's an awesome set and just misses out on the top 5. Number 5 is the Republic Frigate, and this thing is absolutely insane. It's huge. I love this set. It's such an underrated model from Star Wars. We've only got one other version of it, and I think it was based off the Phantom Menace movie, I believe. So it's, yeah, again, it's the other time we got it was then, and it's a really solid set, as with every set on this list. The Clone Wars had some fantastic sets, as you can see. It's really hard to make a list on this. So anyways, the minifigure selection was amazing, as with every set in the top 5, and it's an instant classic for me. The 4th spot goes to the original Clone Wars ATTE, and while I don't think this set aged very well as the others on this list, I do still like it personally. This was one of my first really big sets when I was a kid. The Rex fig was obviously the highlight for me. He's a very expensive minifigure now. If you want to get him, I think he's upwards of, what, $100 brand new now. So anyways, this set is really beautiful and it deserves its 4th place. The bronze medal in 3rd place, I've chosen the Turbo Tank from 2010. Is anybody really shocked here to see this one in the top 3? This thing's a behemoth. It aged really well, like a lot of the top 3 here. You get Cad Bane, 2 clones, Anakin, Ahsoka, Ayla Secura, and the 2nd best Turbo Tank we've ever gotten, in my opinion. I also love the little Skywalker design that comes with it. I think it's so cool. It's such an amazing set. 2nd place goes to the Republic Gunship from 2008, the original Clone Wars line, and probably the best one. And while I don't think it's necessarily the best Republic Gunship we've gotten, it would be up there for sure. It would definitely be in the top 3, and it's definitely a Star Wars fan's dream to have this set complete and sealed. I actually have it, and I love it. It's one of my personal favorite sets of all time, and it definitely deserves 2nd place. Big surprise here, guys. Who would have guessed? But number 1 goes to the Republic Gunship and AT-OT. I don't know what else could have taken 1st place. I don't know how you could argue anything else to be 1st place, in my opinion, but I think it's one of the all-time great Star Wars sets. It holds up really well. It's a beautiful set. 10 out of 10. It's so perfect. Alrighty guys, well that wraps up the rankings. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. I know this was a long video, but there's so many Clone Wars sets, as you can see. I'm going to be doing a separate video for Microfighters, and again, like I mentioned, I didn't include any UCS sets, but that's actually part of my other video that I just did recently, so go check that one out. Also, you guys voted for the LEGO Star Wars Iceberg video next, so I'm currently working on that one. It's just taking a while, so I just decided to throw out another video in the meantime. It's going to take a while, so there's a lot of information and lore to go through on that one, and it's really hard to find any real information on that one, so just be patient. It will come out, so be on the lookout for that video really soon. Anyways, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. We are almost at 500 subscribers, so let's push for that one. I really appreciate it. With all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one, and have a great day.